Okay, hello guys. It's Barry again. I'm back. I've managed to watch the latest X Files, the X Files latest episode yesterday, I believe it was. I'm filming this on the 2nd of February in case I do not get to upload later and you wonder what day I'm referring to. It would have been the 1st of February that I saw the actual episode. And it was a really great episode. I think it's my favourite of the season so far, but it's hard to pick a favourite. But I feel the chemistry, the acting, everything was really building up, and that also makes sense, not just because of the episode, but also because obviously Gillian and David, presuming that they filmed in sequential order, I guess production order may have been different, but if a production order was not different, or if this episode was not one of the first that they filmed anyway, full stop, they would have been getting into the flow of things after a year or year and a half break, whatever it was. They've been hanging out and getting into the part. I expect this was not the first episode they filmed anyway, regardless of airing order. I really liked the Ghouli idea. There was some obviously when by the way, if you have not seen the episode, you're going to be completely spoiled. Please do not continue listening to this if you want to be surprised. Maybe come back once you have been watching the episode. But once there was a scene where Scully apparently was shot. Obviously, that I didn't buy that for a minute, not just because it's not the last episode of the season, but even in the last episode of the season, I don't think Scully's actually going to die, or her fate will be open-ended in some way. That's not to say that it was not a clever trick. At least from William's perspective, William was trying to be clever. Basically, he's creating some sort of imagery illusion. So there were two. They weren't FBI agents, but equivalents of sorts. They were from the Department of Justice in the end, I think. No, Department of Defense. I can't remember, but somehow I think the DOJ got involved. It's the DOJ who I think sanctioned their operation. I can't remember, but anyway, so two guys from the Department of Defense, possibly working for a cigarette smoking man, really, but he has his hands in all sorts of pies, so where they're working isn't really indicative of whether or not he has control over them. But they shot each other because he made one look like Scully. I'll tell you one thing I was thinking immediately why before I knew how this scene was going to end, Scully seemed way too sluggish. I don't know if that was done on purpose to point out that William does not know her response times or something. But if you watch the scene again, at least when I first seen it, I've only watched it through once, so I need to watch again. But when I first saw the scene, Scully was so slow, and I was thinking, you can say she's aged or she's tired, whatever, but no, she's an experienced agent. She seemed too calm. She was just slowly lifting. I thought, you're going to get shot. There's no way you're getting out of that. So that was what made it so obvious for me. So they made it seem she had been killed, but I think Mulder ran into the real Scully before, around the same time he saw the dead body. No, because of course to him he saw the illusion wasn't for his benefits. I think he saw the dead agent instantly. Yeah, that's right. I remember now. So obviously he's not able to do it on a mass scale, it seems, either, or he's not choosing to. It's sort of a defensive mechanism. So sometimes when Mulder and Scully are looking for him, he runs out by disguising himself as a nurse or some sort of hospital attendant. And obviously Mulder, that they just, she was hiding from the gunfire, so they take no notice as she runs out. And it was a beautiful scene, and I knew they wouldn't be able to resist, and obviously we knew, given Williams' imagery tricks, it was obvious what was going to happen, but I found that did not detract. It was still great to see it play out. there was this guy, and obviously since the beginning they pretty much made it obvious what's going on. But this guy comes back towards the end. Obviously, it's obvious it's William, and he says things like, "I never finished high school," which is obviously so clever. Which is obviously is simple, but also so clever because that's a hint to William's real age. Left high school. That was such an obvious, making it clear for everyone that this is William, and the way he's approaching the fact that this random man's approaching her and stuff. I was surprised Scully, she is normally quick. She didn't seem to quite, from what I remember, she wasn't quite putting the pieces together. But there does not seem to be a completely two-way mental bond between them yet, mother and son. But yeah, that was good. So so they go to the CCTV of the some kind of petrol station or something, I guess, in America. So they show the CCTV, and of course the CCTV reflects the accurate image. So they say William standing there, and they cleverly had William, read the lines the other actor originally spoke. William standing there. I'd be interested to know how they filmed that. Whether they filmed William actually filming first, to try and get Gillian and stuff to I don't know, to see how they would feel. Would it help with their acting? Would they feel that mystery element, or did they get the old man to appear beside her first? I wonder which way they did it. But anyway, it looked very good, seeing that. As it's even though you could see miles away what's going to happen, just seeing it was it was a classic the X Files sort of, but also quite different to what they've done before. It was just classic, a good way to end. So yeah, I think it was one of my favourite episodes. The Ghouli, it started off like sort of action, and are they going to be hunting a monster of some kind? I saw behind the scenes of Gillian like a week or so ago, where she was referencing this kind of feeling that it starts as like a monster of the week, but then it becomes mythology related because William, their son from around 2002, if you remember the original series, how it ended. 2001, 2002, maybe he was born, came back, and there was no Jeffrey Spender back again, but he might be back in another episode, I hope, and I guess it might have been a bit of a push to cram him into this episode, it would seem for the sake of it, so hopefully they're saving him for another, because I like his character, I like the actor, so let's not push him in for the sake of it. Hopefully he's in, I hope he's in at least one more episode, I really hope. Maybe confronting cigarette smoking man at last. So that's I read, I think yesterday, that Chris Carter did try to get John Doggett to this to the new season, but he was busy filming something called Scorpion that John Doggett, I mix the titles. Robert Patrick, I should say, is the real person, the actor. Robert Patrick's in. Actually, no, I think I did say it the right way around. I meant they couldn't get John Doggett because Robert Patrick's filming Scorpion. I've not seen Scorpion myself, but I've heard Robert Patrick talk about it, and he seems to enjoy his time there, so that's good. But yeah, it would be really nice. It's a shame about schedule conflicts. I'm just hoping in at least one episode, there's some epic comeback, like there's an alien going to kill Scully and everyone or something, and the alien suddenly falls, and then it reveals, as it falls forward, it reveals John Doggett standing there, and he's got to have some epic one line or something. I don't know. Do you remember me, Spooky? Or do you know? He never really called Mulder that, but do you remember me, Spooky? Do you remember me, Mulder? How's it going, partner? Or something? I don't know, something classic or something. They have to get John Doggett in somehow. I know I expect they've completely filmed and finished post-production all the episodes now, but I don't think it's been completely revealed whether or not he's in the season, which is good in a way if he is, to keep it a secret. But I have a strong feeling he's not, so that's Robert Patrick could not make it because of scheduling conflicts. But I would really love it, or at least a photograph in Monica Ray's Monica's, well, I don't know what she has. They've not really showed, but she should have some like she might have some sort of personal effect, some sort of belonging, some sort of like I have these those keychains you get with photographs in of loved ones and stuff. I have some of those I'm sure they have them in America. Those translucent or transparent sort of key rings you put a photograph in. Maybe at least show her going through or looking at a photograph of John Doggett. That would be good. Alvin Kirsch would be good, but maybe they're not doing it. Maybe they're keeping it a mystery about what's happened in the original series because I think they found out Alan Dale's character in the new Syndicate found out he was helping Mulder escape. I mean, it's hard because everything was so building up and there was going to be a movie to end all movies and it's never happened. So they sort of relaunched the conspiracy, so it's hard. I mean, it was always in doubt precisely what was happening, so that works to his advantage. Chris has a lot to work with, but it's I miss the super soldiers and all the old conspiracy, but it's also nice, I have whatever episodes they give. It's nice seeing what is going on. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say earlier. I read I think I went off track a bit. I read I think recently that Chris Carter tried to get John Doggett, but he wasn't available. And Chris Carter said something like, "That's not to say that he won't appear, but I warn you that if I remember correctly, that article was wrote, I don't know, maybe a few months before filming had even begun. So basically, he was being hopeful and mysterious. I may be wrong, but I don't think he was actually saying, trying to hint that he may be, that he has an educated view, as in he's close to signing a deal or something. I think he was just saying, never say never. He could be in it, but he didn't have inside information, because I think this was before filming had begun and budgets worked out and stuff. I may be wrong, but I think that interview, that was a bit before season 11 had begun production, I think. So try not to get your hopes up too much, maybe, but who knows who will be in the new season. I'm just really hoping they can make it work with Robert Patrick, that they can get him on board for at least 15 seconds, even 15 seconds at the end, the final ever episode of the X Files. Maybe there's someone helping him behind the scenes, like Gibson Praise, or maybe he adopted Gibson Praise, and Gibson Praise leads him to Iridium, because Gibson Praise has some kind of super paranormal abilities as well. And anyway, so that they wonder who's been orchestrating the events, and they reveal at the very end that it's John Doggett, and maybe he left the FBI to live with Gibson Praise, and he cut off contact with Monica to keep everyone safe. And maybe he knew she was working with cigarette smoking man. He picked something up, so he thought, oh okay, I'll cut off contact to protect Monica, and also because I'm not entirely sure what she's up to, or so she does not feel she has to report to CSM where he is. So yeah, really, it's good to see him. We last saw him as a baby, obviously being given up for adoption back when the lone gunmen were around, and we've seen we've seen all three of the lone gunmen in season 10 in a hallucination of sorts, and season 11 we've seen one, Langley, in like a virtual world of some sort. But he was not really alive, at least how we define life. I think he was a piece of programming that carried some traits of Langley. But there's a certain kind of charm and that the old series definitely had, but I think they've gone still just as good, but a slightly different sort of charm. I remember when Gillian, as in Scully, says lone gunman Langley, and she says it like so. This was one of the first episodes of season 11. She says it so I don't know, just nonchalantly, just so I don't know, because she knows full well he's dead, but I don't know, there was something the way the episodes flow are kind of, they have a certain charm to them. Excuse me, I'm losing my. I think I'm starting to lose my voice. I've been talking too much. 23 minutes and 38 seconds. But I might cut some of this down. I don't know. I was on prolific.ac the other day, and I think it was called Rebutter. You know, with some vowels missing. There seems to be a trend. As in rebuter rather, I should have said. As in rebuting. Arguments, and basically it's a new site a university is testing out. I've seen some similar, where they present different arguments, but this one I think people don't submit, it just pulls information from existing websites. So I don't know if it's going to be launched, but I did a test for the university. I think it's safe for me to reveal now. I think, my if there's any confidentiality agreement, I think it's I think they would have only asked me to keep a secret for the duration of the study being done, I suppose. And I think the study ended maybe a few days or a week ago or something.